Childhood Trauma and Adult Relationships, Understanding and Healing. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's talk. Have you ever wondered why you behave a certain way in relationships? Why you sometimes feel insecure, find it hard to trust, or fall into conflict even when you don't want to? The answer may lie deep within your childhood experiences. If we've experienced emotional wounds as children, our ways of perceiving and building relationships in adulthood can be profoundly shaped by them. A sense of safety may not come naturally, and facing conflicts might come with hesitation or puzzling avoidance. Today, we'll explore an important topic: the impact of childhood trauma on our adult relationships. We'll examine what childhood trauma is, how it affects us, and, most importantly, how we can heal those wounds. We'll walk through 3 main points. First, identifying common types of childhood trauma. Second, understanding their deep influence on how we love and connect as adults. And finally, discovering paths toward healing and growth. What is childhood trauma? So, what exactly is childhood trauma? It's not an abstract idea. It's a broad term for any event in childhood that causes deep emotional or psychological harm. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, these painful experiences usually fall into 3 main categories. 1. Abuse. Abuse can take many forms. There's physical abuse, such as hitting or harming a child, sometimes disguised as discipline. Then there's emotional abuse, where words become weapons. Harsh criticism, insults, cruel teasing, or constant comparisons can leave a child feeling ashamed, inadequate, and unworthy. Most devastating of all is sexual abuse, which includes any inappropriate or exploitative behavior toward a child. 2. Neglect. Neglect isn't just a lack of food or clothing. Physical neglect means not providing adequate care, supervision, or a safe, healthy environment, leading to malnutrition, illness, or danger. Emotional neglect is more subtle. It happens when a child's feelings are ignored, dismissed, or controlled, when children are forced to appear happy and aren't allowed to feel sadness, pain, or longing. They grow up without learning how to understand or manage their emotions. 3. Dysfunctional family environment. This includes difficult family situations that children either witness or endure, such as living with someone struggling with mental illness, addiction, or incarceration. Witnessing domestic violence, especially a mother being abused by a partner, or experiencing the separation or divorce of parents, can also leave lasting scars. No matter which category the experience falls into, these events can plant seeds of trauma that quietly shape our lives and relationships in adulthood in ways we might not even recognize. How does childhood trauma affect us as adults? Curious how those invisible childhood scars show up in our adult lives, especially in relationships. Their effects are often complex and subtle, influencing how we connect, communicate, and love. Attachment styles. How we connect. One of the most visible impacts is on how we form emotional bonds with others. Early experiences with parents or primary caregivers shape our fundamental beliefs about relationships and the world. These beliefs become the foundation of different attachment styles. There are 4 main types. Secure attachment. Those with secure attachment generally feel comfortable with intimacy and trust. They're open to giving and receiving love without fear of losing themselves. They believe they're worthy of love and that others are reliable. Anxious attachment. People with this style often fear abandonment. They need constant reassurance, tend to overthink, and may worry they're not loved enough. This insecurity can create intense emotional dependency. Avoidant attachment. Marked by fear of emotional intimacy. These individuals keep others at arm's length. They may struggle to trust or open up, even to those they care about. This leads to emotional distance and difficulty in expressing feelings. Anxious avoidant, disorganized, attachment. A confusing mix of craving closeness and fearing it at the same time. These individuals desire love and intimacy but feel overwhelmed or threatened when it happens. They often struggle to maintain healthy, lasting connections, except for the secure style. All other attachment styles can make adult relationships more challenging. They may show up as poor communication, low self-esteem, a belief that one doesn't deserve love, or even self-sabotaging behaviors. Trust issues. Let's talk about trust, a major building block in any relationship. If your early years were marked by betrayal, deception, or lack of protection, it's understandable that you'd have trouble trusting others later in life. Imagine a child who was bullied at school. That experience might lead them to fear judgment or rejection as adults. As a result, they may avoid social interactions, keep people at a distance, or find it hard to open up, making it difficult to form close, trusting relationships. Communication styles shaped by trauma. The way we talk, express emotions, and resolve conflict is also shaped by childhood trauma. If someone grew up in a household where conflicts were resolved through shouting and blame, they might unconsciously repeat that pattern in their adult relationships. Alternatively, they might develop a deep fear of conflict and avoid it at all costs. Expressing emotions clearly and constructively can be hard. Childhood trauma may lead to unhealthy communication styles, such as passive communication, avoiding direct expression, being overly accommodating, or hiding one's needs. Passive-aggressive communication, using sarcasm, subtle digs, or indirect criticism instead of being honest about feelings. Aggressive communication, lashing out, blaming, controlling, or verbally attacking others. Limited emotional intelligence, EQ. Another major area affected is emotional intelligence, our ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and empathize with others. Those with unresolved childhood trauma may struggle with basic EQ skills. They might have trouble identifying or naming their own emotions, let alone expressing them. Empathy might not come naturally, and they may fail to see how their actions impact others. All of this can weaken the foundation of healthy, emotionally intelligent relationships. Reenacting old wounds. Here's a complex but real psychological phenomenon. People often subconsciously recreate the very trauma they once endured. They may feel drawn to relationships that echo painful past dynamics, even if those relationships are harmful. For example, someone who lacked affection and was mistreated as a child might end up in a relationship where they're emotionally abused again. Sometimes, they even mistake controlling or jealous behavior as intense love. This creates a painful cycle where the person unknowingly repeats past wounds. It's crucial to understand that this isn't a conscious choice. It's often a defense mechanism, a craving for the familiar, even if it's familiar pain. Or it might be an unconscious attempt to rewrite the past and triumph over it, but sadly, this rarely ends well without support. Impact on mental and physical health. Finally, we can't overlook the effect of childhood trauma on overall well-being. Research shows strong links between childhood trauma and mental health issues such as anxiety and depression in adulthood. Even physically, trauma can alter our body's biochemistry. Long-term emotional stress increases stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine, which, over time, can lead to chronic health issues, stomach problems, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and even some cancers. However, keep in mind that only licensed professionals, psychologists or medical doctors, can accurately diagnose and assess how these issues affect your life and relationships. The healing journey. Overcoming childhood trauma. At this point, you may be feeling a little heavy-hearted, but here's the good news. No matter how painful the past, healing from childhood trauma is entirely possible. The path isn't easy. but it opens the door to deeper peace and more fulfilling relationships. So, where can we start? 1. Seek professional support. One of the most powerful steps is seeking help from a mental health professional. A trusted therapist or counselor can help you explore how past trauma affects your current life. More importantly, they'll listen without judgment, support your self-understanding, and guide you toward healthier relationships and greater self-awareness. 2. Inner child work. Another powerful practice is connecting with your inner child. It may sound unusual, but it's incredibly healing. Try writing a letter to yourself as a child. Acknowledge the pain you experienced. Tell your younger self you see their suffering, that their feelings are valid, and you're here to listen. This process can help you connect more deeply with your wounded parts and begin transforming the patterns that no longer serve you. 3. Build healthy habits. Don't underestimate the power of physical and mental self-care. Simple acts like eating well, exercising regularly, and practicing mindfulness or meditation daily can have a huge impact. A healthy body supports a healthier mind, and vice versa. Physical and emotional well-being are closely connected. Final thoughts. Healing is a journey, one that requires time, patience, and compassion toward yourself. But know this: you can overcome the shadows of your past. You can build a brighter, more connected future filled with love, trust, and meaningful relationships.